Evening, everybody. This is Wednesday evening, just before 6 p.m., and changing weather conditions should make us aware tonight for some strong gusty winds and possibly some damaging hail. This is after midnight for most of us. I'm going to show you exactly what happens when and where, but probably not a bad idea for this evening to have a way for weather alerts to wake you up. We say overnight, but I'm looking at the very, very early hours. It's still dark tomorrow morning that I think a few of these things will start to roll through. So, looking outside right now, you can see the camera shaking on the pole. Looking up at Missouri 58, that's how strong the winds are. Cloudy skies, and things are starting to work in from the west. The winds are going to die down here in just a couple of hours, and I'm going to show you that too. And then they're going to pick back up, and that is why we're here. So here was the first clue this afternoon that something was up with this mesoscale discussion coming out late afternoon, talking about some supercells possibly here in central Kansas, just west central Kansas. They say that a watch is very unlikely, but just calling attention to the possibility for those supercells. And so looking outside right now, before we pick up what happens with those, we have had a few scattered showers around, but they're elevated. You might say, no, we haven't, because they're really elevated up in the atmosphere. I'm not really aware that much other than sprinkles have made their way to the ground thus far this afternoon. However, that will change. Keep in mind that mesoscale discussion out here was over in west central Kansas, right? And so going through the evening, let me show you what happens with those cells. If they do come together, they could be strong out there. And look at what happens. They just come across due east. And so by about 10 o'clock tonight, I'm picking up some storms around the Wichita area. And look what happens. What's left of those is going to start to approach our area. This is now about the 1 a.m. time frame. So let's zoom in a little bit here and see about 1, 2 a.m. I see showers, possibly some smaller thunderstorms down here around Chanute, but up as far north as Emporia, possibly all scattered showers with maybe some small thunderstorms. So as we go through toward the early morning hours, this is now about 3 a.m. when I think precipitation starts to come across state line. So when it does, I'm going to show you the winds in just a minute. These will be strong and gusty, and it looks like they may just come in just south of Butler, right, and work their way across. But look off here to the northwest. When this comes through, we're not quite done. So let's watch what happens through the rest of the morning. So right now I'm up to about the 5, 6 a.m. hour, and what I expect is just a diagonal cluster, possibly some training in these little clusters of thunderstorms too, which means that once you get one of these little clusters and it moves out, you may get another one, and that's something we're going to see again Friday afternoon as well, and I'll talk about that here in a second. But this is now approaching the 6 a.m. hour when I still see a cluster of thunderstorms starting up here around Baldwin City, Ottawa, coming down and picking up Lewisburg, Drexel. Again, this is looking around 5, 6, could be 7 a.m. when there's thunderstorms possibly around Pleasanton, Butler, Rich Hill, Nevada, down here into Eldo as well. So pretty much the whole area up and down I-49 and up and down state line looking to have some impact tomorrow morning. And then I'll play this along. This scoots out by, could be 7, 8 a.m., 9 a.m. But what I want to do now, let me back this up and show you the winds. So let me get to where we are now. Yeah, this is where we are this evening. Look at these winds that we're having. So they're a little bit stronger out in Kansas. We know that. So these are 22, 23 mile per hour winds. Over here, they're already starting to fade across state line. They're still up 18 mile an hour winds. So these are going to die down, but keep in mind this is winds. So let me put this in motion through the night. Look what happens with these storms that come through. So that's what I'm talking about. The strong damaging winds could be up around 40 mile per hour wind gusts coming through with the potential for some hail tonight. So where does this go? This is looking like 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. I see strong wind gusts start to come across state line, Pleasanton, just south of Butler area. But look where they're strongest, over here south of Osage City, Lebo, Ottawa. So this is roughly following those thunderstorms that I just showed you a few minutes ago and the potential for those strong wind gusts. Once they do move through in the morning, since we're talking about wind, we'll stick with that theme. Wind picks back up. I'm up into tomorrow afternoon, and I'm still seeing a windy, if not a little bit windier than today. I'm seeing 23, 25 mile an hour winds over here on the Kansas side, and we're going to be at around 21, 22 mile per hour winds. This is about 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So let me switch back over here to reflectivity, because we're starting to get our first look at the big weather story, which is Friday afternoon. And so we've been talking about this cold front that's going to drape just diagonally across Missouri. We know that. And storms may fire along that cold front. And here's the concern: if they do, this is one measure of atmospheric instability. This is CAPE. So any storms that do fire and drift into this higher level of atmospheric potential energy could be some very robust storms looking at Friday afternoon. However, there's a big area of convective inhibition, and there's an elevated mixed layer here that may hold things off. How long? Don't know, but it may keep things from materializing into big, severe, robust cells through the afternoon into the early evening hours. One model suggesting, and I'm going to show that for you here, that things don't really get started until this would be 10, 11 o'clock Friday night, when we start to see, again, along that front, showers and thunderstorms starting to pick up into our area. So it's definitely possible. If we look at potential energy, it's still there. It's still there, but it is starting to wane, right? And it does fade off through the overnight, early morning hours. And so it's just a conditional threat, is why they're saying that. The big yellow graphic that I've been putting up for risk area, calling it now a conditional threat, because you can see, hopefully, I just showed you all of the different conditions that are there, but they've all got to be there at the same time for us to have those severe storms. So I think safe to say still for Friday afternoon into the evening hours. It's just a watch and see game for sure. And so, for that reason, National Weather Service still maintaining the slight risk area for Friday, encompassing all of our area. No big change from this morning. This fades out to a marginal risk, northwestern Cass County, but the majority of our area is still in that slight risk for those reasons. So, that is what I know. So, keep an eye on things tonight. Be advised. We'll see what early tomorrow morning brings. Like I say, good to have some things to wake you up. If there are any warnings, I will jump on here and tell you about them as well. Hey, that is what I know. Everybody have a great evening. I'll be talking to you in the morning. See ya.